Well, today is the day that most of you have been waiting for. In this video, we're going to be dropping our 2022 sprint car schedule. Well, things haven't really changed since the last time we've talked. All of the cars are in the exact same spots and they almost look like they're in the same condition, which isn't entirely true. They just look a little bit weird sitting here because they don't have engines in them, which this next week we plan on doing that and then also getting them ready to be stickered. But welcome back to today's video. Happy to have you guys hanging out with us here today. And as I said in the show, we are going to be talking about our 2022 sprint car schedule and where the AT&T will be at for this season. Now, before I break down weekend by weekend exactly where we're gonna be, I kind of wanted to give you some insight on how I try to set up a schedule for my team on where we want to race. So how I looked at things for 2022 is we wanted to try to race close to home if possible. Was on each weekend, what was the closest race to home with the best field of cars at the best possible racetrack where we can get some laps, learn, and be on a good surface. Now, each weekend, you're not necessarily gonna have all three of those factors, so you kind of have to filter out and see. And then also, as we get closer and closer to each date, you have to watch the weather and see any updates on purses and what's going on and where everyone else is gonna possibly be racing so you know where you need to head. So I really tried to put this schedule together to where we could build our team up in the long run. We're gonna have some weekends where we're racing against the World of Outlaws and the All-Star Circuit of Champions, which anytime you get to learn from the best and compete with them and just how they do the whole process of sprint car racing, that is a huge tool that we have and just such a learning experience for all of us involved. And then we're also gonna have other weeks where we're running just weekly shows throughout the Northwest or in California, and it's still a good opportunity to learn and get better, but I feel like that's where we're gonna show our progress and where we can stand out and use all the experience that we've gathered over the past couple of seasons. So in my opinion, that is the name of the game for our team for 2022. We want to have our hard races, we're going to have our harder races, and then we're literally going to have our races where we're racing against the best drivers in the world. So I believe through that happy medium, it is going to benefit me most as a driver to build my confidence and get me to step up my game to the level that I need to perform to race with these guys. And then also as a team, help us keep improving and heading towards the direction and accomplishing the goals that we would like to over the next couple of years. But no more talking, it is now time to jump into our 2022 schedule, which I'll have the full thing linked down below in the description for you guys to check it out after the video. And also you need to note that it is very well possible that some of these dates and tracks get changed depending on weather or equipment situation between 360s and 410s and Carly and so many factors. You gotta stay on top of our social media because the second that we're gonna have schedule changes, it will be updated on our website, it will be posted on Facebook, Instagram, all that. And I'll also try to let you guys know here on the YouTube channel, but that's so important because unfortunately plans do change at some times. But our first race of 2022 is actually a double header weekend and it takes place down in California. The first night on April 1st at the Ocean Speedway is in a 360 for the Taco Bravo sprints. And then on April 2nd, we will be competing in Stockton, California for the King of the West 410 Sprint Car season opener. Never been to Stockton before, so that should be interesting, but it being a little bit of a larger racetrack, that typically suits my driving style, so I'm excited to get on it for the first time. The following weekend, we are still in California for April 8th and 9th. It is a 410 Sprint Car double header, the first night being at the Tulare Thunderbolt down in the Central Valley, and the second night being at the Colorado Speedway, which is, Peter Murphy's track. That weekend is gonna be a lot of fun. So we get to spend 2 there in California, and then the Pacific Northwest Sprint Car season kind of starts, so we're gonna be back up here with April 16th being at the Grays Harbor Raceway in a 360, and the following weekend at the Grays Harbor Raceway once again in a 360. So Elma has their first 2 points races. Then the following weekend, we have the annual Spring Fling at Cottage Grove, which is April 29th and 30th, and both of those are 360 races. So that closes out April. Now we head into May, and it gets real exciting. The first weekly 410 race at the Skagit Speedway is May 7th, and we plan on supporting that. Everything they're doing in Washington to bring 410s back to the West Coast and the Northwest is huge. So if we're in town and we would like to run those 410 races. So we're starting with May 7th. Then we're leaving the 410 in and we're heading to California the following weekend for the Peter Murphy Classic on May 13th and 14th at Tulare. And then the following night on Saturday is gonna be at the Colorado Speedway. Both of those nights should have huge car counts between the 360 and the 410, but like I said, we will have the 410 in. Then we have a weekend off. I think Carly's gonna try to race somewhere. And then we have 4 nights of action for the fastest 4 days in motorsports for KWS, starting May 26th at the Southern Oregon Speedway, which is 25 minutes away from the house. Then we had 3 hours north on May 27th, which is a Friday, and run Willamette. And then we're at Grays Harbor Raceway in Elma, May 28th and 29th to finish off the Memorial Day weekend in 4 nights of racing. Then we're back home for another weekend, June 3rd and 4th at the Southern Oregon Speedway for a 2-day Western Sprint Tour 360 race close to home. That's another one I'm looking forward to because we don't even run 360s out at the local speedway much. And then this 410 trend continues as we head to Dirt Cup. June 17th is at the Silver Dollar Speedway, which is south. And then we head back north and run the Cottage Grove Speedway on June 18th with the 410. Both of those are part of the Road to Dirt Cup. Then June 19th, we are at the Grays Harbor Raceway for 1 night with the 360 in, which is the final night of the Fred Brownfield Classic, which is like $5,000 to win. So that's gonna be a pretty heavy night as far as car count goes. And then we continue heading north on June 20th. So that's 4 nights in a row. June 20th is at the Skagit Speedway for like the prelude to Dirt Cup with the 410 in. So we end that stretch of 4 nights of racing at Skagit. Then we have 3 days off, and then we start the 50th annual Dirt Cup, which is gonna be June 23rd, 24th, and 25th. And that final night pays $50,000 to win. By far gonna be the biggest 410 race on the West Coast, and there's gonna be eyes from all over watching to see who takes home that top prize. After we wrap up that racing in the Northwest with the 410, then our plan is to start kind of working our way east. We'll probably come home and then we'll head back towards Montana. On July 1st, we have a TBA, so stay tuned where we might possibly be racing that day. But then the plan for 4th of July is to get back to one of my all-time favorite racetracks, the Electric City Speedway on July 3rd and 4th. Both of those with the 360 in, and I had success last time we were there. We won the final night of the Montana Roundup in 2020, and we were not able to show up there in 2021. So looking forward to getting back to that place. It's so slick, it's so unique. There's so many cool things about it. So after a handful of nights in Montana, our Midwest trip is officially gonna start as we head east and run our first race on July 8th at the 34 Raceway in West Burlington, Iowa. We ran there last year with the All-Stars, and this time it'll be with the Outlaws. So that is a 410 show on July 8th, and then the following night on July 9th, we will run Knoxville weekly with the 410. So then we are gonna be hanging out throughout the week, and we are back in action on July 15th in Lincoln, Illinois with the 410, and then we also are running Knoxville again that following Saturday, July 16th with the 410. We also plan on running July 17th, which is a Sunday, but we have it as a TBA on our schedule at the moment. Then the following weekend, we are getting back to a track that we got to run 2 nights in 2021, which was the Lake Ozark Speedway, and that will be with the All-Star Circuit of Champions, July 22nd and 23rd. And then we will stay with the All-Stars as they're kind of on their road to Knoxville for July 28th at I-70, July 29th at I-70, so 2 nights at a very, very fast racetrack, and then we head to Knoxville on July 30th. Now, it's obvious why we were trying to hit Knoxville for those weekends beforehand to get as much experience as possible, because now we are almost into Nationals time. We run Lakeside Speedway, which is down in Kansas, on August 2nd with the ASCS National Tour. Then we run 360 Nationals August 4th, 5th, and 6th. Then on August 7th, we are at Knoxville once again for the Capitani Classic. And then we have 410 Nationals August 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Let me tell you, the biggest sprint car race in the whole world we are gonna be competing in 2022. We got to run 360 Nationals last year, which was like a taste, just a taste of what it was like. But this year we're gonna get to run 410 Nationals, be in that atmosphere, race against the best drivers, and race at the sprint car capital of the world. Let me just tell you, that is gonna be absolutely nuts. Then we come home and we have a couple TBAs on the schedule before we get into the Outlaw swing, which is August 26th and 27th. Either I'm gonna be racing or maybe even Carly might be in the seat. And now we really dive into the fall West Coast World of Outlaws swing, September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the Skagit Speedway. Then we have a night off with the Outlaws and we'll be at the Grays Harbor Raceway with our 360. And then September 5th, we're back with the Outlaws in Elma, and that will kind of wrap up the 4 nights of 410 racing up in Washington. Then we head south for the Gold Cup on September 9th and 10th with the World of Outlaws at Silver Dollar. And then this next weekend I put as a TBA on our schedule, but the Outlaws are down in California again at Colorado Speedway and Placer Placerville, and there's also a weekly 360 race you can run in there to make it a 3-night weekend. I have that as a TBA on our schedule because there's a couple other tracks up here that we might be able to run. I just got to see where everything's at to make it possible if we're going to be able to run that weekend again with the World of Outlaws and the greatest show on dirt. And then we just have a couple of scattered weekends to kind of end our season. September 30th and October 1st is the Fall Nationals down in Chico, so the Silver Dollar Speedway with the 360. And then October 20th, 21st, and 22nd is the 2022 Trophy Cup with the 360 as well. Now there's a couple weekends missing in there where we might be able to race, but we also kind of just got to see as we get closer. But right now, that is officially our 2022 schedule, which I believe is over 50, close to almost 60 nights of racing. That is where it'll kind of shake out by the time we get rainouts and, you know, where this place can't race and we end up heading here and we end up having to change this engine and Carly runs or I run and things will just be complete chaos. But I guess that is the chaos that we live for, and that is why we love what we do. But that is my 2022 schedule. Why we are out in the Midwest, if there is a date that I did not mention where it might be possible for us to race, don't forget to comment down below in the comment section. It could be 360 or 410. While we're out there, we would like to add races if it makes sense, and also, you know, as rainouts occur, as I mentioned, we could possibly go to another track close in the area if they are racing. But anyway, I'm going to continue working here in the shop, and then we are going to be heading south for this weekend's West Coast Nationals. And as we go through our season, if you guys ever find yourself wanting to help our team out, either Carly or myself or both of us, don't hesitate to reach out to the team. Racing is a tough sport, and any help that we can get in any area is much appreciated. So thank you guys so much. We're going to get back to work, and we have a big season of racing coming up in 2022, and I can't wait for you guys to go along with us for the journey. Deuces.